Hi, welcome to all United Homesteaders. Carl, this is Megan. We're um, our homesteading name is Three Strands Homestead. Um, I know that kind of sounds a little confusing, um, but this is a channel where multiple homesteaders will be posting videos on. Um, it's really a channel that the Lord wanted us to come up with and just show people um, how you can live life with one another and how He is to be in the midst of all of it. Um, so that's why we came up with the name All United. Um, so yeah, but so that's just a little bit behind the name. But we are actually considered Three Strands Homestead, and we will do maybe another video later on how that name came about and all that good stuff. But today we actually want to share with you a little bit of just how and why we got involved with homesteading and um, the importance of it and yeah, all that. Um, so yeah, I guess we can start with just kind of where it started. Um, when see, the Lord really gave my wife the vision of this. Um, I, uh, I had no vision of any of this. I'm really kind of just now jumping on board. I'm so thankful that that the Lord has really given her. This is like part of her purpose in life is to homestead, and it's also part of my purpose as well. Um, I've just I I don't know. I guess I've kind of
You came out of a season that really prohibited, and
yeah
we can speak on that later, but there was just a
yes
season that really hindered you being here, on the homestead as much
yeah
as you would have liked.
that's a good
So,
way to put it. Yeah, so that's a good way to put it. So, but better now than never. Um, so yeah, I'll just kind of ask you some questions and so I guess we'll just start with where and when. I guess more so when did He start putting this on your heart and
well, I would say in 2014 is when he really put it on my heart to homestead. But due to the lack of finances and just where we were at the time, it was very difficult to cultivate any of that. It was very hard for me to just get all on board.
yeah
I did do a garden that year and it didn't do very well out of, lack of knowledge for growing food, but
oh yeah I remember
I felt like it was a step forward. So yeah, I didn't know that corn, is cross pollinators and needed more than 4 plants to survive.
that. It was a start to something great though.
Yeah.
It was a start.
It was.
We all start somewhere.
Right. But after that, I just kind of put it down because, just because he gives you a revelation or a desire about something doesn't mean you jump head first into it, because then you can run yourself ragged,
Very true.
and I just strongly believe that he said to put it down for a little bit, and that was difficult because I wanted to grow food, I wanted to have chickens, but we just weren't in a position to do that, and so.
Oh.
But even as a child, my papa grew a garden. He always had a beautiful garden. He had plum trees and pear trees, and he would, as a child, take us out there and let us pick stuff off of them, and there was something just precious to me about food being grown, and just so beautiful, all the colors of food, and my granny would can all the stuff from their garden, and
Yeah.
she was a very, very experienced woman with that, and she did a very good job, and
Oh yeah.
so it was a blessing to see that as a young child and be a part of it, and little did I know that I'd be doing that now, but so that's when it started, was in, I would say honestly as a child,
Yeah.
when the Lord really was, even then,
He was planting a seed.
even as like 8 years old, just,
Well,
um, but yeah.
that's Yeah, so back in 2014, she started getting this revelation of and desire to get into gardening, and a lot of times that's our first step is to get into gardening, and then from there maybe getting some chickens or that's kind of like the gateway though is gardening, growing tomatoes. But we little did we know. I'll just say little did I know where it was actually going. I just thought it was gonna be a little garden. I had no clue about chickens, and of course I knew what chickens were, obviously, but I didn't know we were gonna be getting chickens, and yeah, so.
And chickens is actually what started it for us.
Yeah.
And we
Well, the gardening, you started the gardening
in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, because in 2019 is when we got the chickens, and then I did the garden.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. When we moved to 2021.
Yeah, because it was winter when we got chickens. It was in February, and that was just the greatest thing. Still love chickens. We still have a lot of chickens.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll kind of work our way to where we are now, but I'll say we have a lot more than just a couple little chickens, but it's all by the grace of God, and he's really shown Megan a lot on just has given a lot of wisdom and a lot of understanding and a lot of heart to care for these things, and she just has such a desire, and my heart is turning as well, because I didn't have a desire. I worked away from the home, constantly busy. I do tree work, and I'm constantly away, and so there was a whole struggle right there where I was kind of this way and she was this way, and the Lord has shown me that, and it's really pulling me back where it's supposed to be, where it should start, and so me being an overseer of the home, and so anyway. We have children coming in. We have 3 kids, by the way. So we have learned a lot over the years, and have gone through a lot of different seasons.
Very difficult seasons.
Difficult seasons.
Last year was very difficult.
Yes. But we still hang on to the hope, and not just the hope, but really the
strength to persevere.
Yeah.
To endure it.
That's right. To endure and understand that it's good. This is what we're doing is more of God's original design, and I'm not saying that it was His design to have hundreds and hundreds of chickens and hundreds of goats and pigs and all that stuff.
And nothing wrong with that if someone does do that. There are people who have an abundance of animals. They do great, and But for us, however.
Yeah, I'll just say for where we are, for where we are learning that by the grace of God, and nothing wrong with people who go to the market, because we still go to the market. We just try not to go as much as we did in the past. So God has really shown us that really we had depended on the market a lot, and He he's trying to bring us out of that system and out of that mindset to where the husband goes off to work and the wife is over here off to work a lot of times, and the kids are, you know, in school, and it's like the whole house is separated, and so and then we're having to depend on this big market and all these different systems that really aren't his system, and not that he doesn't use that system, because he does, he can, and he does. But for where we are, he's really just trying to bring us back around more of what would you call it? More of just his design, I guess. So, and this is kind of what we haven't perfected it, and we're learning, and we really hope that you will stick around and learn with us, and because we're going to have hopefully a lot of videos on just our homestead, and
we have baby goats due soon, so hopefully we can capture that on camera and show you guys, because it's so beautiful when there's new life on the homestead. You know, it's very exciting. How to milk a goat. You know, we'll be milking goats and bringing you along, you know, on that journey, and what we all do with the goat's milk, and I mean, there'll be so much canning, you know, and if there's anything that y'all would like to see, if we're able to do it, then of course you can put it in the comments, and we will, you know, try to get around to showing you that.
Oh yeah.
You know, giving injections or giving chickens herbs, you know, just, you know, whatever needs to be done on the homestead that day, or just taking you along for chores, you know. But we want to be in detail too about how we do things, because I see videos and some of them are vague, and that's something that was very difficult for me, was seeing videos that were just kind of vague. They just kind of touched on stuff and didn't go deep into it.
Didn't really.
It's like, how much of this should you give, though? You know, like, and I'm not saying all the videos are that way, because they're not. You know, there's some really good content out there.
And we know as well that we're going to miss things, and
we don't know it all for sure.
No.
We're learning just like you guys are, you know. And
we got a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn, and we're hoping that through this that we will learn some of you and get to know some of you, and I know y'all will have questions, and we won't have all the answers, but there will also be some of you that will recommend some really neat things. So we're excited about all of this. So that's really the main reason. I know we're kind of rambling, but the main reason behind what we do as homesteaders for Three Strands Homestead is to get back to God's natural design, and that's just within Three Strands Homestead. Now the part with all United Homesteaders is to really not do this alone. It's to do this as a community. So you're going to have many different people, or whether it's, they may or may not have a homesteader's name, so it might just be an individual. But
typically it will be families.
But typically, yes, it will be families, and we want y'all to see where we can all work together, and we can all, you know, we can all get along and live life together, and really just search and seek God's heart behind all this. So that's the purpose of it.
Can I, because it won't take very long, it's not worth doing a whole video, but just touch on why the name is why it is Three Strands Homestead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So several years ago, after I had a garden and the chickens, I wanted to name our homestead, and I'm not very good with naming things. And so I was just praying in our living room when we lived back in Texas that God would give us a name. And then he came up with Three Strands Homestead, which is an Ecclesiastes, you know. A cord of three strands is not easily broken. And so that was really special, you know, to me, that cord of three strands, you know. And so that's where it originated from. So just wanted to let them know that up front, you know, so they don't have to keep guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And whenever I think of that verse, it really brings me back to marriage and how you have the wife, the husband, and you have God. That really causes us to go from living our individual lives to actually doing this and really coming together as one. And, God doing that, God being the reason behind that, and being in the midst of that. So he is the third, or really he's the first. I guess either way you want to look at that. But so as long as God's in the midst of it, it's very complicated to break that.
Right.
So.
And forgive us for any inconsistencies in the videos.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This is our first video that we've ever posted, and they will get better over time.
Lord willing.
Our oldest daughter helps us edit, and she's learning too, so it's all a process for all of us. And so we're hoping that you guys will hang with us and learn with us and be on this journey with us. And
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like she had mentioned earlier, we're gonna show you scenes of. Hopefully, we can catch scenes of the goats' new kids being born
and baby chicks being hatched this spring. All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So, alrighty. Well, thank you for tuning in, and
we hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Or whether we see you soon or
you see us soon.
or you hope you see us soon.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, take care.